Come on, Beep, we don't have much time. The oxygen levels are running low. Stop joking around, Beep. We need to get to the escape pod. Quick, press the airlock button and I'll get the pod ready. Detached review for the PlayStation VR. Let's begin! First up, let's take a look at the gameplay. Detached is a space exploration game. The main aim is to find your crew. As you would expect, you can rotate your body in any direction you want, and you can also brake. Your stopping speed is gradual, so you will need to get used to it, especially as hitting into something at a fast speed will damage your suit, and if you're going very fast, it can instantly kill you. Your spacesuit can be upgraded with rockets, a shield, and boost. But you will get all of these upgrades in the first large level, and it actually comes across more like a lengthy tutorial. You will need to use your suit's upgrades for some of the environmental dangers, but most of these deaths can be prevented by a simple push of a button, which activates your shield. It doesn't challenge you much at all. The game does have a survival element to it, as you must pick up oxygen tanks that are found just floating around. I never found them to be too hard to find at the beginning of the game, so you don't have to feel too concerned about annoying deaths because of a depleting bar. But further on in the game, annoying deaths do become a problem, even more so with the incredibly old school light checkpoint system. Fuel tanks and NANs are also found floating around. NANs are used in control panels. These are usually located quite nearby a panel, and they do encourage exploration of the area you're in. Exploration can be both fun and extremely annoying thanks to confusing objectives. In some of the larger areas you must reach a certain place first before an objective marker is seen. This can lead to some long and tedious exploration, as the environment's layout doesn't do a whole lot to separate locations from one another. There is some structures that stand out, but when there is a lot of wreckage seen all around you, and the fact that you are spinning around a lot, it's incredibly hard to know whereabouts you are in the world. There are some enemies in the game. If they lock onto you for a short period of time, they will fire rockets towards you. To prevent them from doing this, you can disable the enemies momentarily with your own rockets. The combat isn't all that fun, and each time you come across another one, disabling them becomes more of a short chore. Most of the time, you will simply be pressing buttons or going on fetch quests. But there are some time trials that demand you to make good use of your spacesuit thrusters, and for launchers that boost you through space. These are the game's most exhilarating and fun moments. The game also comes with 2 online multiplayer modes. It is only 1 versus 1 though, in either a race or a capture the flag like scenario. Like the main game, you will have all the suit's abilities at your disposal, but they make both of the game's modes incredibly repetitive. You wait for your abilities to recharge, you shoot your opponent, which disables them momentarily, allowing you to overtake them, and then they do the same to you. To make things worse, if either of you crash into something at high speeds, the game just ends. You can't even select which game mode you want to play, as the game automatically does it for you, and there is no option for you to join a friend, so you will be playing with random strangers online. The multiplayer is certainly an afterthought and simply isn't fun. Now let's take a look at how immersive this game is. The visuals are very crisp and sharp, and the depth on your spacesuit is amazing. Even the little cracks that appear on your suit after a collision are easily visible. The suit really does feel quite bulky on you, and I can imagine it is very lifelike. There really is some amazing views, and the immersion really is the best part of the game, especially when light glows from behind objects as you float past them. Like all PSVR games though, objects that are seen very far off in the distance do look blurry. When entering an airlock, a brief loading screen is seen. It obviously does break the immersion slightly, but they are quite short loading times. Your torch comes on when you're inside some areas, and the light it casts does look great. Although it can appear quite creepy in these places, the music reassures you that it's all about isolation and discovery. You don't completely feel isolated though, thanks to some radio chatter that drives the story and your objectives forward. The voiceovers do sound great.
Don't worry, I didn't forget about my space sloth. Here's the plan. You need to access the escape pod in the emergency bay.
All the sounds here are great too, especially your spacesuit thrusters that are heard when not only boosting, but also whilst you're floating around at normal speed. You do really feel like you're in space. Now let's take a look at the setup and what controllers the game supports. I played this game in a seated position just under 2 meters away from the camera. The head tracking was perfect and the game did make me feel motion sick quite a bit. The ideal session time for me was about 30 minutes. There is a lot of options to make the game more comfortable for you, but this really isn't a game for people who are not used to VR. This game is played with the DualShock controller. The other controllers are not supported. Now let's take a look at the length of the game and what trophies come with it. The game lasts for around 4 hours, but if you get lost like I did in one of its massive areas, you can add more time onto that, and of course the multiplayer mode can be played over and over again. If you're a trophy hunter, there is a lot of trophies here to keep you busy, but I'm not so sure that the platinum is worth it overall. In total there are 48 trophies that can be achieved. There's 34 bronze, 11 silver, 2 gold and 1 platinum. There is so much variety in the trophy list, it would take far too long to go into great detail about them, but the main ones to keep in mind is that some of the levels do need to be completed in a certain amount of time, and the whole game also needs to be completed in less than an hour. There is also some really annoying ones, like collecting all the canisters and nans in the game. Finding all of these will be very time consuming, and are one of the main reasons why I personally wouldn't even attempt to get the platinum in this game. And now it's time for the verdict. Once I had got used to the controls and I exited the first airlock and drifted off into space, I was sure I was in for an epic space exploration journey. But as the game went on, my enjoyment turned into frustration due to confusing objectives and a less than frequent checkpoint system that makes the exploration become tedious. You really are going to have to enjoy exploring space, because becoming lost in the larger areas is very likely. I absolutely loved getting used to the spacesuit's handling, and it was very rewarding when I was able to float around with ease, although motion sickness was always creeping up on me. The multiplayer mode is just an afterthought, but if you do want to give it a go, you may have trouble finding a server to play on. The immersion in this game is some of the best you can experience in a virtual space game. In fact, it probably is the best. It's just an incredible shame that the gameplay and overall structure sucks some of the enjoyment out of it. I'm sorry, Beep, but it's for the best.
Let's begin!
If you need a place for your Beep to sit, check out the generic VR stand on gearbest.com. The box includes a few parts that easily slot and push together to make the stand. It really does only take a few seconds to fully assemble. These parts have a great smooth finish to them, due to the protective covering they come in that prevents scratches and scuffs. The legs are very sturdy, and the small shelf your headset sits on has a couple of smooth ridges that hold the headset in place, so there is no fear of your headset falling and getting damaged. It comes in black, which combines well when placed next to the PS4, and the headset lifts off with ease when you need to get into a virtual world quickly. If you want to see more of a generic VR stand, you can find links in the description of this video. Dark CJ has arrived. Will we ever see Beep again? Well, it's not looking good at the moment. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more PlayStation VR content.